And I'll call the meeting to order. I squale siemna sietya, aina squalawa and kawana silam nala. We respectfully acknowledge that we're meeting on the traditional ancestral lands of the Kawatsan people. I'd like to indicate to you, in addition to the agenda, could you please add 7.2.2 Vista request to the agenda? And I'd like a motion to adopt the agenda. Moved by Trustee Thorne, seconded by Trustee DeGroot. All those in favor? Motion carries. Moving to the minutes of the January 4th, 2022 open board meeting. A motion to adopt the minutes, please. Moved by Trustee DeGroot, seconded by Trustee Doman. All those in favor? Motion carries. Moving through recognition and delegations to the report of the closed meeting. Mr. Sandquist, please.
Thank you. The board met in closed session just prior to the open. They received a delegation, reviewed personnel items, contracts, and a memorandum of understanding. The business of the meeting was not concluded, and the board will go back into closed session following the open session.
Thank you. I'm just wondering if Trustee Miller has been allowed to join us.
I see she's in the attendee.
Okay, thank you. And moving to item 6, old business action list. So on page 10, or would you like to put it up, please, Secretary Treasurer? So does staff have anything that they wish to talk about on the action list?
Yes, please. I'd just like to make a comment on the flagpoles. I know that we have been in conversation with a number of our Indigenous communities, and so we will be looking at adding as many flagpoles as necessary to honor and raise the flags of our nations. Presently, right now, we were waiting for our painting to be done at the board office, and so we will be able to extend the position of flagpoles all across the building according to the need of the number of folks who would like to actually hang a flag. So I just wanted to make the board aware of that.
Thank you. Trustee Thorne? I see your hand up.
If you remember, when we raised the flag over at VIU, alongside Métis Carleton tribes, all of the logos of all of the First Nations were on that one particular flag because they're in constant flow with treaties, so they have the Halkidiki Treaty. I just thought I'd mention that.
Thank you, Trustee Thorne. I think we're trying to sort out the flags, asking each of the nations how they would like to proceed with that idea. So we'll get to the bottom of this soon, we hope. Okay, anything else on the action list from anyone? Okay, moving to item 7, Chair of the Board. The first 7.1.1 is Black History Month. We know that February is the date for this month, and just want to thank our staff on behalf of the board for recognizing Black History Month and for teaching our students the importance of respect, inclusion, and honoring diversity. Looking at item 7.2 for board action, the topic is an anti-racism policy. And as a board, we've been learning a lot about anti-racism, and the committee is still ongoing and will continue till the end of June. So we know we are learning, and we know that there's a lot more to learn. But it's important to state our direction in policy. Many school districts have already done that. And so I bring to you a suggestion for a motion that the board requests our staff prepare a draft anti-racism policy. Is there a mover? Trustee DeGroot? Seconded by Trustee Croft?
Nope.
Nope. Seconded by Trustee Doman. Conversation on the motion. Trustee Croft.
I was very close to seconding, so thank you. But I guess my question is, humans have such capacity for marginalizing people for all kinds of reasons. Is there a rationale for limiting this to anti-racism rather than all types of ways that we marginalize people and have biases and prejudices?
I'm expecting that we would be focusing on the BIPOC anti-racism. That seems to be suggested in ministry releases and other districts. And that could be a direction that our staff hears from us, that we want to talk about racism as we know it.
As we know it.
As we know it within Cowichan Valley.
Thank you.
Okay, other comments on the motion? All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Moving to 7.2.2, Vista request, and emailed out the request. We just received it yesterday. Here it is. So it is a request from the Vista executive to devote board's $1,700 from BCSDA that is allocated annually for professional development. And there are two cases here that I would first of all remind you that we gave our money to Vista when we brought in Anthony McLean 2 years ago. So we were one of the boards on the island of the 12 that gave up our funds. The second is this year we are using our funds for our board performance review in May, the follow-up. And the third piece that I've just learned today is that 3 other boards have already indicated they would be happy to give up their funding. So Vista actually has enough money. So what I'm going to suggest to you is that we pass a motion indicating that we are not able to allocate our funds this year to Vista, as we have dedicated them to our board performance review follow-up. Trustee de Groot. So moved. Okay, thank you. Moved by Trustee de Groot, seconded by Trustee Kemmler. Conversation on the motion. All those in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Moving to item 8, Superintendent of Schools.
Thank you very much. I would like to introduce a number of people, and if I could ask that Kelly Gervin, Madeline Rochelet, and Stacey Berry be brought into our room today. So firstly, we have Kelly Gervin. And Kelly, do you want to raise your hand and do this so that they know who you are and they can see your face, your friendly face? So Kelly Gervin has been appointed a temporary vice principal at Alexander Elementary. She started on January the 1st, so she's got 1 month in. She has been holding a teaching position at Alexander Elementary, where she has been teaching for a number of years, and I believe in Indigenous Ed as well. So she is one of our new vice principals who was hired within our VP pool. So welcome, Kelly.
On behalf of the board, welcome, Kelly. We look forward to meeting you in person at some point.
And then next we have Madeline Rochelet. And Madeline, do you want to wave your hand as well? She's another one of our temporary vice principals, and she has been positioned at Discovery Elementary. She started again on January the 1st and has 1 month in. And she held a teaching position at Ecole Mount Provost before we moved her to Discovery. So I would imagine that there was some sad folks who waved her goodbye, but I'm sure she was welcomed with open arms at Discovery to support the school there as well as principal. And so again, welcome to Madeline.
And on behalf of the board, most welcome, although I was one of the people at Mount Prevost that was very sad by your leaving. My grandson was in your class, so that was quite difficult. However, I raised my head up and thought, this is really good for the district and for you. So congratulations.
And then, of course, lastly, but certainly not least, Stacy Berry. And Stacy has taken on the manager of Student Information System. She started her role on January the 18th. She has worked for many years in the school district in a variety of roles. That's why she was so ready to take on this particular challenge. And I know that she has been transitioning with Wayne Smiley for the last couple of weeks. And so Human Resources Department had to say goodbye to her, sadly. And in fact, she certainly sat behind my office for the last couple of months. And so Stacy, welcome into your role of the Student Information System as the manager there.
And on behalf of the board, congratulations, Stacy. It's wonderful to see that you're still with us and you're still doing important roles within our system. So congratulations. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you. I'll move on now to 8.2.1, which is kindergarten registration update. So I wanted to provide the board with an update around kindergarten registration. As you're aware, on January 28th, it was the final day for families to register their children in our French immersion program, as well as Mill Bay Nature School. And so there was a lottery that needed to be conducted last Friday evening. And so with regard though to École Mount Prevost, we had absolutely enough seats to have all of the children who applied to École Mount Prevost actually acquire a seat in their kindergarten program. But in École Cobble Hill, we had a number of seats that were filled, 47 of them, as a matter of fact, with 8 on the wait list. And so that those families will be looking for a seat in the future. And then at Mill Bay Nature School, we accepted 25 students there, and we have 7 families who will be on the wait list there at Mill Bay Nature School. And so regular kindergarten registration is taking place this week, January the 31st to February the 4th. All right, I will now move on to my update. I think I froze there for a second. All right.
People do.
I would like to just make a couple of acknowledgements. You know, it's been a challenging January month, and I would like to certainly extend a great big thank you to our operations and our transportation staff. If you recall, it was kind of stormy out there in the first couple of weeks of January, and there were some very interesting days. We had the snow day, but we also had some very cold days that required our staff to be out there shoveling and taking care of our grounds in a very good way, as well as those transportation drivers who would be transporting some of our learners of our essential service workers that first week in January. So, you know, great effort on all of their part to ensure the safety of our staff and our students that particular week. I also wanted to acknowledge the elementary school secretaries. When it is kindergarten registration week, they are certainly busy supporting all the families who come in or who are calling to inquire about registration. And so they really are that first communication person that our families get to speak with. And so really thank you to all of them for the service that they do for all of our families who are sometimes new, but sometimes they're bringing in their second or their third child. So I'd like to acknowledge them as well. And then just lastly, there's been a couple of critical incidences across our school district in the last couple of weeks. And I want to acknowledge our district critical response team, as well as the schools who have their own critical response teams, and how they were able to mobilize and support their communities. And so again, thanks for all the work from the people who do that work to support our families and our community during those trying times. Then I'd like to move on to let the board know that with regard to some of our assessments, Literacy 10 and Numeracy 10, as well as our grade 12 literacy assessments, those sessions were canceled this last month in January. It was due to the ministry and the challenges related to, staff shortages and a number of things that were going on. But we've had to certainly assure all of our students in grade 12 that in no way would this cancellation impact or cause any unexpected circumstances with regard to their graduation. And then with regard to literacy and numeracy 10, there will be more sittings in the month of June. And so those children who actually need those assessments in literacy 10 and numeracy 10 will be able to get them at the latter part of the end of the school year. And then again, this is the time for the BC Student Learning Survey. And for some of you who remember the satisfaction survey, this would be a new version of that. And so it is available online from January the 3rd to April the 29th for all grades 4, 7, 10, and 12 students, as well as their parents and staff across BC public schools. And for us, some of those questions are highly applicable to the response that we have related to kids. And one of the questions would be, how safe do you feel at school? And so we certainly work toward getting the majority of our students signed in to actually do the survey so that we can hear their voices and attend to what their voices have to say to us. And then moving on to second semester. So all of our students would be starting their second semester of the school year as of yesterday. And so right now, presently, we're at the halfway point of the school year. And so I certainly know that that's interesting times in a high school setting. And all of those students would be going into the new classes with some of their new teachers and maybe with a new group of students. And then I want to move on. It is Pink Shirt Day month in the month of February. I do want to alert the board that that is coming up on February the 23rd. I think at some point there was a date that was inaccurate that said it was February the 18th. So if you'd like to mark on your calendar and wear your pink shirt to stand up for anti-bullying, February 23rd is the day. And then I'm going to move on to more learning. Our learning coordinator team. We are going to be moving forward with Ignite Sans Bite, and it is the school district's learning team who are relaunching the Ignite and Bite virtual series, and it's scheduled for February the 10th after school from 4 to 5:30. On a normal day, we would invite them in and we would break bread together and have dinner after our learning. But presently, we will be doing without the bite. But just to share a little bit of a snippet of what is going to be offered. We have build wind chimes with your class. We have graphic design basics to support visual projects. There's going to be a literacy chat, strong start to grade 7. We're going to have another topic on the reading brain, working together for our Hahas Manam, and then creating artifacts for identity, self-reflection in clips. So we have 6 workshops being offered on February the 10th from 4 to 5:30 for learning across the school district. We also have a second session scheduled for April the 21st, so we'll see if it needs to be virtual or not. And moving along, we have 2 administrative procedures for the board's information. They would have gone to our board education board committee meeting. And so I just wanted to share with you that AP 157, the flag protocol, it has been updated and was shared at the BEBC meeting. We also had the AP 516, promotion of students in trades. This is a new AP, and it was also shared on January the 25th. And soon it will be updated on our website and be posted. And then just finally, just to let the board know that we were able to deliver some treats to some of those schools who were impacted by our critical incidents. So Shemina Secondary, Coheman, Cowichan Secondary School were all delivered treats on a very hard day by some of our staff who were able to get out there and provide that opportunity for those schools. And then I'm going to move into 8.3 for board action. And this is with regard to our school calendar 2022 to 2023. As you're aware, we are in the second year of the school district's approved 3-year calendar. We have been able to go through that with the ministry. But effective last year on September the 30th was the federal government designated day for the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation for all federal employees and federally regulated workplaces. So this year on September the 30th, it has been marked as an observance until further details are provided. But there is a recommendation here under action that the board approves the observance of the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation on September 30th in the 2022-2023 school calendar. And so that is there for the board's consideration.
Trustee Croft,
So moved.
moved by trustee Croft, seconded by trustee Kemmler. Any conversation on the motion? All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Superintendent. Oh, you have something else?
Just a final comment that with regard to the calendar, in the months of May, our professional development days, we collaborate with our union groups to determine when they will fall in the future of next year, and we will finalize that calendar at that time. So thank you.
Thank you. Moving to Secretary Treasurer, Mr. Sandquist, item 9.
Thank you. I have 2 action items this evening. The first is in relation to board signing authority. We neglected to do this in October when Trustee Kemmler was voted in as vice chair. Now, signing authority is included in role of the board chair and role of the vice chair, but we need to do a formal motion for our bankers in order to get the signing authority updated on their end. So we now bring that forward, that the Board of Education of School District number 79, Cowichan Valley, authorizes the transfer of signing authority to Candace Spilsbury, board chair, or Joanne Kemmler, vice chair, and one of Robin Gray, superintendent, or Jason Sandquist, secretary treasurer, effective February 1st, 2022.
Motion moved by trustee Thorne, seconded by trustee DeGroot. All those, any conversation? All those in favor? Motion carries. Back to you, Mr. Sandquist.
Thank you. The next item is a big one for me, and I think hopefully for the board. It's the 2021-2022 amended annual budget. This budget was reviewed in detail at the Board Education and Business Committee preceding this meeting. And at that meeting, the committee recommended adoption of the 2021-2022 amended annual budget in the amount of $113,416,478. This is the largest amended budget this district will have ever adopted. And it is a consolidation between operating, special purpose, and capital funding.
Thank you. So do I have a mover of the first reading? Trustee Doman, and seconded by trustee DeGroot. All those in favor? Motion carries. Moving to second reading, is there a mover for that? Moved by trustee DeGroot, seconded by trustee Thorne. Any conversation? All those in favor? Motion carries. Moving to considering giving 3 readings at this meeting. So is there a mover? Moved by trustee DeGroot, seconded by trustee Doman. All those in favor? Motion carries. And moving to the final, well, actually the third and final reading. Is there a mover of that motion? Moved by trustee Thorne, seconded by trustee Doman. Any conversation? All those in favor? Motion carries. That's-
Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Sandquist. Moving to item 10, committees and outside organizations. The first is 10.1, that we receive the minutes of the BEBC meeting on November 23rd, 2021. Trustee Hutchins is not here. Trustee Kemmler, would you move that motion?
I would like to move that motion that we receive those minutes.
Okay, moved by trustee Kemmler, seconded by trustee DeGroot. All those in favor? Motion carries. Moving to item 10.2, highlights of the January 13, 2022 DSAC meeting. Trustee Hutchins is not here. Is there a mover of that motion? DeGroot, seconded by trustee Thorne. All those in favor? Motion carries. Moving to highlights of the January 18th, 2022 Advisory Committee meeting. Trustee Kemmler,
I'd like to move we accept the minutes from the January 18th Advisory Committee.
thank you. Moved by trustee Kemmler, seconded by trustee DeGroot. All those in favor? Motion carries. Moving to the minutes of the January 20th, 22 DPAC meeting. Trustee Thorne.
I'd like to move that we accept the minutes of the DPAC meeting.
Thank you. Moved by trustee Thorne, seconded by trustee Kemmler. All those in favor? Motion carries. Moving to motions from the January 25th, 2022 BEBC meeting. The first is regarding the Cowichan Secondary School Rugby Academy fees. Is there a mover of that motion? Moved by trustee Doman, seconded by trustee DeGroot. Any conversation? All those in favor? Motion carries. Moving to the second motion regarding the policy 17 contingency reserve with policy 17, replace policy 17 contingency reserve with policy 17 accumulated operating surplus. Is there a mover of that motion? Moved by trustee Kemmler, seconded by trustee Doman. Any conversation? All those in favor? Motion carries. Okay, moving to item 11, schedule of upcoming meetings and events. Secretary Treasurer, could you put that up on our screen, please? So is there anything that staff or trustees which wish to comment on the list?
I just want to make the comment around the pink shirt day that it is indeed February the 23rd, not the February the 18th. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd just like to point out the Vista Branch meeting, which is March the 5th in the morning. It's a Saturday. Anything else from anyone? Okay, thank you. So no correspondence, no new business. Question period. Are there any questions? Mr. Sandquist, I'll rely on you to let me know. Please.
Okay, so we have the question and answer open, and just keep watching to see if anybody's typing anything in here. Currently, there's nothing to report, but just give it a few moments. And I don't see anything coming through tonight.
Okay, well, thank you. And so a motion to adjourn the meeting, moved by trustee DeGroot, second by trustee Doman. All those in favor? Motion carries.